Doug, if we can take it from the top. We'll go into this not as in depth, but I mean, tell me about you were at the Grey Cup, or at the Grey
Well,
Cup at the
we're at the
Beamish.
Beamish house. Yeah, we're at the Beamish house, my friend and I, enjoying the party, obviously, and the football game. And we're just out having a nice dinner and some drinks. I smoke cigars occasionally. I went out and had my cigar during halftime. And, obviously the Argos won. Walked home and I felt this cough coming on. Sunday evening, and then by Monday morning I knew I was probably getting the flu. Turns out I did get the flu.
Tell me about because forgive me,
Yeah,
you're adamant with getting the flu shots
yeah,
and talking about it just didn't work out.
yeah. This week I was supposed to do it Thursday. I was at the Independent. The lineup was long. There was a lot of people waiting. So I continued on with my regular job, delivering prescriptions and my taxi runs. And I thought, I'll just get it this week, put it off. So from a decision on Thursday, I ended up catching the flu on, I guess, Sunday, technically. Really, Monday, it's when it hit me. And by Tuesday evening, I was being rushed to Northumberland Hills with a throat blockage from an infection from influenza A.
Tell me about what happened. I guess Monday, like how when it got worse.
Monday, I started off with cough and sneeze, a little fatigue, not much. I just knew that I wasn't feeling right, but I worked through it, finished my complete day. Tuesday is when I woke up and I realized, I stayed in bed all day and, I had to be at work at 2 o'clock as usual. I worked my full day, did my prescriptions. 10:30 is when I usually shut it down. 10:30 comes around. I had one last call that they wanted me to go to Coburg, and I said I physically I couldn't do it. I just knew I was tired. Usually walk my dog up and down the Gainey, so I start off Peter Street, go up to Walton, down by the library, across the bridge, and back to my place. And so I walked my dog, and I realized now I'm at home, and I cannot breathe. Can't get air in. Getting little bits of air, but there's no deep breaths. And put my dog in her kennel, go upstairs, get on telehealth. I didn't get any remedy from them.
Tell me about what happened there though. But how
Well, I went on
because you didn't want to, like you were saying, you didn't want to.
I didn't want to alert an ambulance. I'm the taxi. I know there's no taxis to get back if you go to the hospital. So I go on telehealth to get their professional opinion before going to the hospital and wasting the time at the hospital because I just don't want to be another patient. I don't want to be another body. And I get on telehealth and you talk to a person who's at a call center, I guess, and the screen comes up and says, you gotta pay $72 to speak to the doctor. And I went, well, I'm not paying $72. I want to pay for an ambulance to come and get me. I'm not gonna pay $72. Just talk to a doctor. I thought, okay, just as I got frustrated and shut off the app, I thought, I'll just lay down quickly and try and catch my breath. My buddy Doug Chadwick messaged me and asked me how I was feeling out of the blue, and I was quite honest. I said, I really can't breathe. And he said, well, that's not good. I said, yeah, I agree. I think I need to go to the hospital. And he goes, well, I'm already on my way. And I said, by then I had already made my way down to my car. I was going to drive myself to the hospital. And I said, well, that's just silly. I'm already in my van and I'll just drive myself to the hospital. I was worried about getting back. Should they kick me loose? And he said, no, it's ridiculous. I'm going to come and get you. By then I was at Food Basics. I said, okay, I'm going to turn around and go back because by the time I got to Food Basics, I knew that there was a major issue. I was now starting to black out. I realize now I'm blacking out as I'm driving. Things could have turned out really badly. And, best decision I ever made was to go home, park, and wait for Doug. And Doug drove me to the hospital. I got into the triage, nurse right away at the hospital. They pulled me right into the back.
They asked what your problem was?
Yeah, first off, why are you here? And I said, I think I have the flu, but I can't catch my breath. I can't get air. And I was really wheezing at this point. I won't even say it was a wheeze. I couldn't wheeze anymore. I mustered out the words. And they got me into the back. I had to have 7 people around me right away. Respirologist was right there. I have never been taken care of so quickly in my life. They knew it was an emergency situation from the beginning. And, I was probably in the hospital a couple of hours before I was moved up to the OR, strapped down to the table, and they were now putting in a tube so that I could breathe on a ventilator. I was not able to breathe for myself anymore. And I was actually prepped for a tracheotomy in the OR just in case they couldn't get the tube down my throat.
Take your time.
I made a couple of phone calls to my mom, let her know what's going on, to my friend Michelle, and obviously to Big Doug. I call him Big Doug, Doug Chadwick. I'm Little Doug, he's Big Doug. And because obviously I didn't want to freak everybody out, and I knew I was freaking out. I had no idea what was going on. I can tell you, I honestly was laying there thinking, this might be the day. Looking up at the clock in the OR, I mean, every room in the hospitals that I've been in, I've had clocks on the walls, and I've done a lot of staring at clocks on the walls. So this was now Tuesday night. I was lifted by Orange Air ambulance. At some point, I don't know what time, on Wednesday morning, to Ajax, to the ICU. I was in an induced coma for the trip because they were worried about me being jostled and moving around. I was on a ventilator for 2 or 3 days. I can't remember, honestly. It's all kind of a blur right now, but I've lost a complete day at this point. I woke up not knowing where I was. My mother and my brother in the room with me. My brother explained, how I had come to Ajax because of the critical nature of what had happened. They explained that it was due to influenza A. I had tested positive. When I came in, I was so feverish, they had me packed in ice to bring my core temperature down.
And you didn't, when you told me before that you didn't even feel like you had a temperature.
Yeah, not at all. That was probably the least of my worries. At that point when I got myself, or when Doug got me to the hospital. It was extremely severe for what started off as the man cold. It turned into life-threatening within 2 hours, very quickly.
How old are you?
I just turned 50 November 2nd.
Could you ever foresee something like this happening?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have pre-existing conditions. I have nodules on my lungs. I'm aware of these limitations that I do have. I've had 4 doses of Moderna for COVID. And for the sake of a couple of days, I would have had the flu shot. And it turns out I probably should have gotten the flu shot. Wasted
Wait in line next time.
the 10 minutes for the flu shot. It's so easy.
What would you like to say to others then like myself?
Yeah, it's it's real easy to just put it off. It's so simple to say, I'm busy today. I'll come back tomorrow. If I had just waited the 15 minutes, Who knows, maybe I'm not in this condition today. I'm laying here in a hospital bed in Ajax, and granted, my care has been amazing. These people are working very hard. There's a lot of sick people, obviously, on this floor. But for the sake of 15 minutes, just get the antivirus and put it in your body and go on with your life.
You've always had shots before?
Every year, yeah, every year.
So it's not
Every
like
year.
you,
And I would have done it this year.
yeah, I was going to say, it's not like you
Yeah.
didn't plan to get it.
Yeah.
It's just the timing wasn't right.
It came down to a timing issue. Between the stuff that I need to do, I have to time these kinds of things out, and it just timing's everything.
Chadwick,
Yeah,
thoughts?
the guy's a lifesaver. Saved my life. That man saved my life. He went out of his way. We were really close. He's my best friend, and I, in a heartbeat, would do the same thing for him, and I knew that he would be there for me, and absolutely he is. I've got such an incredible support structure. It's incredible.
When did you know that it was very serious? Like when you were driving?
Yeah, I think that's. I went upstairs the first time to my room, and I thought, I'm tired. I'm gonna lie down. I can't catch my breath. I knew I was serious at that point. I didn't realize where I was at that point, how serious I was. It was when I got in the car and I made, from Mill Street, I made the left onto Peter Street under the train trestle, and I was heading up the hill, and I got to, Northumberland Tire, and I realized something, like my vision was starting to get affected. I knew that there was just no way I could drive myself to Coburg. At that point, I was so thankful that Doug said that he was on his way.
You wouldn't have made it.
Oh, I don't think so. Absolutely, I don't think so.
Doug's always got that sense of humor, Big Doug.
Yeah.
About how he told you about how.
Yeah.
Tell us what he said though when you said don't worry about it.
So we're texting back and forth, and I said, I think I need to go to the hospital for reals. And he says, well, I'm gonna come and get you. And I said, don't be ridiculous. I'm on my way down the stairs. I'm gonna drive myself. And he said, are you kidding? I just put on my good underwear. I'm on my way. And I said, by then I had already driven up the street, and I went, okay, all right, well, I guess I'll wait for you then. And I turned around, I parked the van, and I waited for Doug to come and rescue me.
How's everything now?
It's all right. I'm gonna have a little bit of recovery time here. I'm still not using the bottom portions of my lungs. I'm getting treatment. I'll be here probably Thursday or Friday. It's pretty serious since, I started this journey on Tuesday. So hopefully Thursday or Friday I'll be able to get out of here and get back to some sort of normalcy, but I don't know when I'll be driving my taxi again. Thank God my little sister stepped up, and she's been driving for the taxi in Port Hope, along with Andrew, obviously.
So when did it first hit you? Like Monday, sort of. Well, Sunday at the. You all right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, man.
Oh.
Sunday at the Grey Cup, sort of felt it, but
Yeah, the throat.
Could be a bad
I had a
cigar.
cough, and I chalked it up to my cigar. I'm not smoking nearly as much as I used to smoke cigars, but every now and again, special occasions. Especially like on a Sunday when I'm off. I work 6 days a week. I'm kind of like you. I'm in the car all the time. I get a day off. I just, I wanted to enjoy myself. It was a celebration. And going home, I remember distinctively coughing and thinking, this cough is really taking away my breath. It wasn't, your typical smoker's cough. It was I'm having trouble breathing in the air as I'm coughing. And you know, it wasn't until Monday that it really hit me. And I did Tuesday. I spent the entire day in bed right before I had to go to work. So
That didn't
I
get
knew
any
at that
better,
point I
so
was
it was,
sick. Yeah,
yeah. So it
you know,
was,
but I was able to breathe at that point. You know, through being at home, going to work on the road at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Tuesday, right up until probably I was about walking my dog, and that's when it truly hit me, when I was walking the dog.
so is it, and forgive me, infection in your lungs and your throat? Like, is
I
it,
have yeah. The throat is the point of the blockage, the infection. There was an extreme amount of swelling caused by the influenza. I guess the actual virus attacked my throat. The byproduct, I guess, is that now no air can get to the lungs, so the machines obviously have to breathe for you at that point. So
grateful to be alive.
absolutely. I mean, you think that, you know, from something that is just the flu, and that, you know, people make fun of all the time. You know, oh, he's got the man flu. And I got the gears online about having the man flu, and then for it to turn that quickly and turn that deadly that quickly is unbelievable.